Hello everyone. In this video, I'm going to explain the contents of Ganj-e Hozour's very first episode. First of all, let me explain what Ganj-e Hozour is and who it is run by. Ganj-e Hozour, which is translated as Treasure of Presence, is a program run by Mr. Parviz Shahbazi, who's had the greatest contribution for over 22 years in interpretation of poems of poets such as Hafez, Ep.1, Sadi, Attar, and Rumi, which his main focus is on Rumi's teachings and life lessons. So far, he's produced 942 life-changing episodes, which are truly precious and have changed over millions of lives, including mine. Let's begin. There is a story of a beggar sitting at a wall for over 30 years begging for money. One day, he asked a pedestrian who was walking past for some change. The person passing by said, "I've got nothing to give you." The beggar insisted. The pedestrian said, "As I already told you, I've got nothing to provide you. But what's that you're sitting on?" "This is a box I've been sitting on for ages, as far as I remember," said the beggar. The pedestrian said, "Have you ever had a look inside it?" "No. What for? What do you mean? What the hell would be in the box?" the beggar answered. Followed by the insistence of the pedestrian, he was finally convinced to open the box. And he did, which took him a lot of work and trouble. He got incredibly surprised and amazed. Guess why? The box was full of pure gold. The beggar has been sitting on a box full of pure gold for years and has been begging for money. The story refers to the actual meaning of treasure of presence. It refers to the fact that if we start looking at our inner box and stop looking at boxes outside us, we will find the treasure. Another side of the story is that even if we are the wealthiest person in the world, as long as we haven't found the inner treasure of presence, we will be begging everywhere outside us in order to get released from our loneliness, in order to get released from our griefs and sadness, fears, angers, feeling insufficient, and etc. Let's talk about the definition of Hozour, which is translated as presence in English. Presence is referred to as the state of freedom from the self by reaching the inner essence, which comes along with sense of joy and a kind of infinite divine peace. But the main question is that what has covered this treasure of presence which exists within us in this very moment? Why we are unable to see it? What is the factor that has captivated us and has trapped our lives? What is the barrier that is causing us not to truly feel alive and sense the life that is just vibrating in every particle of our being in this very moment? That factor is nothing but our ego. However, ego is a very vague or somehow an unclear term, considering the fact that it does not have an observable or, in a better word, objective existence somewhere outside us, like this mouse that you all can see in my hand. But in fact, we create it by thinking moment by moment. We combine with our thoughts and we turn into them, conceiving that we are actually those thoughts. This type of life leads us to live in either past or the future instead of living in this moment. Therefore, just ask yourself a question right now. In this very moment that you're watching this video, you might have been thinking of something. Just observe what that thought was. This thought was definitely related to something in the past or the future, and not to this moment of time. Meanwhile, in Treasure of Presence episodes, by the word time, we actually mean past and future, because this very moment is not considered as time. It is simply this moment, the only place where you can sense life or the divine. If we are alive and fully present in this moment, we will sense the vibration of aliveness, the divine peace, and the natural joy which is related to the natural state of an alive human being. According to Rumi's Mathnavi, Book 1, line 2201, Rumi says, "Your current consciousness is associated with recalling what has passed. Your past and future are a curtain covering God." When we take our identity from the past, when we take our sense of aliveness and our sense of being from our thoughts, which are all related to something in the past, we then instantly give life to the future, because past and future are like opposite poles. Rumi says, your awareness comes from the past, then surely the future will accompany the past. It is impossible for us to take our identity from the past without existence of the future. Therefore, we are constantly living either in the past or in the future. And according to Rumi, this past and future is like a veil or a curtain which separates you from God. Past and future is an obstacle not allowing us to sense the aliveness of this very moment. In the next verse, Rumi teaches us the approach to this issue. He says, cast fire on them both. How long because of these two you will be full of knots like a reed. He says, set fire on both past and future. Let me explain to you what ney is. Ney is a woodwind musical instrument, as you can see in the picture, which is made of a reed or a cane. As we all know, there's a lot of knots in a reed before it turns to an actual instrument, which is a ney. Rumi says, being in the past and future conceals this moment and is actually the knots of your ney. So burn them both. Burn both past and future. Then he continues that our ney should be empty inside for the ney player to be able to play a pleasant sound out of it. Then he asks us, how long because of these two, which is past and future, are you going to remain full of knots? As long as the knots of past and future exists in your ney, the ney player would not be able to play you because no pleasant sound comes out of you. That's why we are trapped by griefs in our lives. We're captivated by contradictions within ourselves and outside. We are stuck in our inconsistencies and imbalances in our lives. So, once we are fully present in this moment, something amazing happens. What happens is that we take the awareness, the intelligence, and the essence back from the thoughts where we've been invested them in. We now take back the awareness that was trapped in the thoughts. The thought which has swallowed up all our consciousness, and we've been assimilated with it. In treasure of presence term, we've been identifying ourselves with it. At this moment, observe your thoughts and see what you are thinking about. This observation of thoughts can allow you to detach, distance, and separate from the thought. Once we're detached from the thought, then it no longer will be able to absorb and attract our consciousness. When things happen, sometimes we see how extremely we're swallowed up by them, which we respond by immediate reactions of like anger or fear. This is because of our attachment to thoughts in this moment, because we get defined and identified by our thoughts. Now we are willing to mindfully watch and observe our thoughts so that they won't be able to draw and absorb our consciousness, so that they won't be able to gain a false identity from our true identity. In the next videos, I will be going to continue the contents of Ganj-e Hozour's first episode.